Good day to you peeps, Liesl here again, and today I'm delighted to bring to a song Bits Between the Bits, the Glossy Edition. And why the Glossy Edition, I hear you ask? Well, more will be revealed. So yeah, straight in. This week on my journey through the broader world, if you like, of cigar box instruments, I did have my passion reignited. That's right. Oh, I hear you ask. Your passion for what then, Liesl? Well, basically my passion for two-string cigar box guitars, also known as chuggers or two-string chuggers, which I think is a phrase that was coined by the Don himself of the cigar box instrument, in my opinion, Shane Spiel. Yeah, so let's waffle. I did notice, and I was delighted actually to notice, that there was renewed interest, basically by going through the comments on some previous videos, in the raw materials that we do use to build these instruments, which are the beautiful cigar boxes that we have acquired over the time that we've been doing this channel. And basically I thought, what would I like to use next? Now, the first thing that sprang to mind were these lovely lacquered wood boxes, and I've never actually built anything with any of these highly decorative lacquered boxes before, so I thought it might be a bit of a challenge. But I realised that I have accumulated a few of these. For instance, here we have a pair, slightly different sizes. I don't know how well you can see these, but there's the pair. I thought that's quite interesting. Maybe we could do a set. Could do a 3-stringer and a 2-stringer, or a diddly bow and a guitar. Not sure yet. That'll probably, if I can get my words out, be a little bit down the line. And this little beauty here, it actually took me about 5 years to get my hands on one of these, but I eventually got this one in a lucky dip. So yes, I was very pleased with that, and I do plan to do something with it, although it's a bit knocked about, this one. But then yeah, again, it's quite nicely lacquered. It's lovely colour. Not quite sure what I'm going to do with it yet, but we will do something nice. But as I say, yes, I did have my interest sparked and my passion renewed for two-string instruments. Now there's a couple of reasons for that. Yeah, basically, with two strings, I would say that still constitutes a diddly bow, and you can still bow diddle on two strings quite well, which is something that I do like. I think once you get to 3-stringers, it's easy to play a shuffle, but it's not quite the same. Bow diddle diddle, bow diddle, bow diddle diddle, bow diddle diddle, bow diddle, bow diddle diddle. And I have been missing a lot of that. It will make sense, believe me. Let's hope so anyway. So I then just decided, excuse me. Let's start again. So then I decided on which box I was going to use. Now, I've decided on this rather lovely box for several reasons, which I will explain. Yeah, first and foremost, it is lovely lacquered wood. I got this box very recently actually from a cigar box shop in London, UK, and I just love the bottle green colour of this box. It's nice and shiny. It's a good size for a 2-stringer or a diddly bow, I would say. And I was rather intrigued indeed, with this here, where it says 55 years in the making. I thought, well, that's you, Liesl, because I'm going to be 55 years old this year. I know on the front of here it says 1968 to 2023. Well, I was born in 1969. We're now in 2024. So yes, almost 55 years old. Also, on a personal note, 55 is the archangel number of my guardian angel. Yeah. So again, I thought, very Liesl, let's go with this box. I know the progress has been a bit slow on the channel recently, but there's been a bit of a supply and demand problem. I did go down to the wood recycling facility, basically only to discover that it's disappeared. It's no longer there. The facility has been taken away, so scrap wood's a little bit more thin on the ground, but I did go and purchase basically a piece of wood that I'm going to use for the neck, and I did find an offcut of oak, which I think we can use to make quite a nice fingerboard on this instrument. It will be a fretless, it will have 2 strings, and yeah, I just wanted to get back to the sort of homespun kind of nature, intrinsic style of these instruments that we have all basically grown to know and love, as I would say. Yeah, I'm stalling for time as I remove the sticker from this piece of oak. I don't like stickers on things, no I don't. They're just awkward to get off. But anyway, so yeah, there it is basically. Now peeps, would you like this one to be featured on the channel? Would you like to see this one being built? If you would, just stick it in the comments. Yeah, I don't always feature the whole build because it takes longer when filming them than it does when you're just building them. But I thought with this one, and considering I haven't really featured 2 stringers on the channel, you may well like to see it being made, so I probably won't show every single detail because we pretty much know what we're doing now, but I will feature some of the highlights of the build on this one, which I do intend to start early next week, if not tomorrow in fact, but it'll probably be early next week because I've got to find all my drill bits that I've lost and various trinkets that we're going to need in the building of this one. As I say, I've not built a lot of 2 stringers. We've built the little peace bow, which is over here, but at the moment is without strings. And the other one was bassy bass. This one, which again is without strings, if you were around when I built this, that's it, we were calling it the Ricken Faker or the Ricken Blagger, because I basically did, well, sort of rip off the headstock design from a Ricky, but obviously it's slightly different. I didn't want to get in trouble with Mr. Rickenbacker. I remember the body started to fail on this. I think a big part of the problem was this neck I actually built years and years ago, and I never got round to fitting it to anything. And basically I built this neck when I didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't leave enough for the heel really. So finally we got it together. The neck's held in with roof brackets, which are very heavy. It makes this a very heavy instrument, but I do love it. I'm going to get some new strings for this. And yeah, I might actually take a little bit more off the neck. As we know, there's no truss rod in here. No, it's a cigar box guitar. You don't want to mess around with things like that. It's far too complicated. So yeah, I might feature this as well on our little journey through the world of two stringers this week. Barring any disasters, I don't think this one should take too long to build. But I do intend to paint the neck on this one rather than stain it, because I want to kind of contrast that beautiful green colour there with the neck of the instrument. Not quite sure how I'm going to do that yet, because I want to fit just a stained oak fingerboard on the top, so that won't be painted. I might have to mask it or something. I've never attempted this before, so I thought, well, we can give it a go, and you know, at the very least it'll be a jolly good laugh. Okay. Yeah, so there that is really. I'm looking forward to this. I was listening to a lot of guys playing two stringers this week, and yeah, you know, I think there is something rather wonderful about them. You know, it's like a diddly bow, but you can do a sort of bassier part and then a more trebly part, whatever they call that. I forget what they call that, but anyway, yeah, and get quite a unique sound. Like I say, you can still bow diddle diddle on this one, and you can play individual strings and then slide up and down on the two strings, and you do get a really nice sound, I think. And it's something nice between a sort of diddly bow, standard one string diddly bow, and a cigar box guitar. Yeah, so there it is really. And yeah, we'll see how we get on with that. Okay, Q&As. Mikey, hi. You did ask me how many cigar box instruments have I ever built. Now, I hadn't forgotten, but I had to kind of work it out. Yeah, probably somewhere between 70 and 80, I think, in total. The reason why it wasn't quite such a straightforward answer, I will explain. There's an old joke, and it's not one of Liesel's jokes, okay? But you know that she will get the punchline completely wrong. So you have been warned. Yeah, there's the content warning. But basically the old joke goes something like, this gardener, he goes and walks up to his mate, and he's holding this garden fork, and he says to his mate, do you know, this is the best garden fork I've ever had. I've had it for 40 years. And his mate says, really? How extraordinary, 40 years. And the gardener says, yes. And in all that time, it's only had 4 new handles and 3 new forks. But it's, yeah, okay. But that does kind of highlight what I'm talking about, because basically so many of them get rebuilt. Yeah, I've got guitars where, well, like this one really, where the neck was hanging around for ages. The original body failed, so then I just replaced the body, and to my mind then that's a brand new guitar, you know. And looking around, I've had several like that. If you count every single little diddly bow that I ever built, things that went wrong, things that didn't last, things that were not as good as they are now, real monstrosities. I've been doing these about 8 years. Yeah, so I did work out that it's probably somewhere between 70 and 80 in total that I have built. How many have I got now? Probably about 20, I would admit. Yeah, I do dismantle them from time to time, because as you can see, this is quite a small apartment. And after a while, you're tripping over these things everywhere you go. So there you go, there's the answer to that question anyway. And yes, thanks Mikey, that's a fantastic question. I did have to think about it a little bit, but anyway, that's my best answer. So there it is. So I hope that all made sense. Anyway, peeps, yeah, and obviously if you have any questions, just put them in the comments. If you would like to see the build in progress, put that in the comments as well, and I'll endeavour anyway to show you at least the main highlights. Obviously it will all be built by hand, and then who knows, you might fancy having a go at one of these yourself. Go on, don't be shy, give it a try. That's it, all the fun you can have with 2 strings. So hopefully, you know, I've promoted that well enough to spark a little bit of interest. And yeah, I will let you know how we get on with this, probably early next week now. Yeah, and I must say that I'm keen to build this one because it definitely does come in the category of things I want to play. I want a 2-stringer, yeah, and I haven't really got one. I've got one, but it's small. I want a larger one, and I've got one, but it's a bass, and I want a more standard one, if you could use the word standard with these instruments. So yeah, there it is. Basically, it's things I'd like to play, and I'm sure it's things we'd all love to hear. So if you have stayed with me to the very end, as always, thank you very much. And yeah, at this point I would also like to thank my very latest subscribers, our very latest community members, for joining us in this community. As ever, I'm absolutely grateful to us all. I hope you enjoy the videos. I try to bring as many interesting things as I can, and obviously if you have any suggestions or anything you'd like to see built, or anything we could experimentally build, then please do put it in the comments, and yeah, well, then we'll take it from there. So as ever, that really does leave me only to say, wherever you are, do stay safe. Whatever you're doing, do stay blessed. And whatever life brings, keep building. Okay then, peeps, thanks for joining me today. It's been a pleasure, and I'll see you all very soon. Okay then, bye for now then. Bye.